All right. Like I said, I'm gonna try and fix the rest of them so we can show some of the other productions. Was this one without seeing it? Does this one look familiar to anyone? I think I download the second time I downloaded it, the audio worked. This is Taylor's. Yeah, see, it was even with this, I wasn't getting audio. Don't know. It would play on Blackboard, but it would buffer every about 2 seconds. I don't think just Blackboard in general is a bit of a pain. The search. All right. Cool. All right. So what I'm going to talk about first here is this is kind of an overview of your final film. This will kind of be your last big project of the year. Minus, don't forget about your film journal. That's still on there. Don't forget that. That's kind of a big one too. But just kind of breaking things down here. You'll have the final draft of the script, which that will be next week. A rough cut of the film, your pre-production book, and final production book. It's one and the same thing. It's not two separate things. And then your final project. So if you work on this as just by yourself, obviously you'll probably have people helping you or whatever. But 3 to 5 minute. That's not including the credits, so just the movie time is 3 to 5 minutes. If you want to work in a group of two, you can. So 4 to 6 minutes, not including credits, and then just get permission like by next week, if possible, if you'd like to do that. If it's over two, I could still get behind it. I just kind of would need to know that it's not going to be just one person doing all the work. So some kind of plan that shows this is how we're going to do it. All right. So your things for next week, I'm going to have you do a lookbook, which we'll go over what that is, and then your final draft. Can you all see that okay? Is the glare really bad? Good? Okay. A final draft of your script, a rough cut. Sorry, this is a little out of order on here, but your rough cut, your production book, and your final cut of your film. I'll straighten that out on Blackboard so it makes sense. And this is just kind of an overview, but that's what you can kind of expect to do. I have your export specs there, what the title card says at the beginning, similar to what you did before. You're free to make an opening title. I've had people make fake production companies just for fun. Feel free to do that. And then just make sure to label it this and group member names. I should have had you do that on this last one, or maybe I did. I don't remember. Just for clarity's sake. The production book will include your script, which we gotta add scene numbers to that. Your lookbook will go over a calendar, just a basic calendar of any format. I really should have done the lecture first. This will make more sense. But location report and a shot list. We're gonna go over all of this. Storyboards, overhead or photo boards, a line script, call sheets. Again, we'll go over all this. But that's what you can expect for the next few weeks, and then how these all break down individually is through a little thing I like to call planning. All right, there we go. So really, when you're starting to get in these longer length productions and taking it to the level that you would want to take it to look good, to be as best as it possibly can be, is you got to plan. And I was a person who I didn't like to plan. I like to just go out and just get what I can get and hope it was good, and then really make the magic happen in the edit. And I partnered up with someone when we founded a company, and I really started to see the impact of planning and how much better that makes your life. Alfred Hitchcock would always talk about that he shot the film on paper before he shot it. He found the actual filming to be boring because he already knew exactly how he wanted it down to the tiniest of detail because it was so planned. But it saves you time. If this is a career path you're wanting to go down, it's going to save you money because you are saving time, because time really is your currency. And regardless of how simple you think your story might be, you need to plan ahead. So the first thing we're going to be doing is a lookbook. I have a link to a lookbook, and we'll go over that in just a second. Basically, it's just a compiling of your ideas, your thematic ideas, your overarching. Just click on it and see what it looks like. Kind of the overarching idea of what it is you want to do. So I'm going to show you a film I did. Tell you what, we'll do that first. I'm going in odd steps today. I apologize. Okay, so this was a film I shot for. It was a combination of a history class and a directing class. I had to do a film for each one, like a 7-minute range one, and I said, well, can I do a little bit longer one and combine them? So I had to shoot in the same style as the poetic realists like Renoir and stuff like that. And then I also was directing it. So we'll watch the film, and then you can see kind of how the lookbook corresponds to it.
The Elevator Affair by Conrad Burns, Chapter 1. I often get asked how it all happened. How one event that should have ended in death, ironically ended in death. Well, it all began at an elevator with one simple question.
Hey, you think you can see the Statue of Liberty from here?
Huh?
Buddy of mine told me, you go up to the rooftop of this building, you see the Statue of Liberty.
That's in New York.
Yeah.
We're in Ohio.
Yeah, but it's like a big statue.
What brought these men together?
Hold that door!
Strangers behind a door. An odd mix to be standing together. The brothers Dinsdale, Arthur and Sebastian. Together they invested in a computer software company that invents computer software. They are on a first-name basis with the Pope. Asher Klein, son of a senator and marijuana legislation activist who once changed himself to a cow to protest deforestation. And Chad, part-time bag boy at a local dollar store and video game enthusiast.
Hold that door!
We were all about to be linked in a very unique way. All 5 in the elevator survived with only cuts, bruises, and acute cases of claustrophobia. Like soldiers in war, potential death will solidify men together. Every July 6th, the 5 companions found themselves at the summer home of the Dinsdales for a celebration of not dying in a horrible crash. Our story begins on this, the 4th anniversary of the plummet.
Would it be cheaper to just stick around about 3 times as many burritos? Or should I just pay child support? Ah, there he is. There's the author. Late as usual.
I thought lateness was fashionable.
Jameson, get Mr. Conrad a...
Rum and Coke, please. Well, I think you're still driving that old gas mask.
I'm too poor to be an environmentalist. Good to see you again, Chad.
So, Todd? Chad was just explaining his financial expeditions to us before you came. Yeah, like I was saying, with my girl knocked up and all, this whole bag boy thing's getting really predictable. I'm looking to find a new branch. And Investments? A new career? I always thought I had a good future in vending machines.
Whatever do you mean?
I get them. You put your money in, you get a food item out of it, maybe a little snack cake.
Sebastian, I could sure use that drink.
Yes, Jameson, another round of drinks. Isabel.
Darling, I didn't know the guests had arrived.
There was one more thing that united all the men together. She was Helen reborn, a seductress, a lure in pearls. No man could resist her. Isabel Dinsdale.
Dans ce train qui m'emmène loin, je me demande pourquoi. Dans le bruit des roues, j'entends comme un écho de sa voix. Je sais qu'elle me mentait quand elle me disait qu'elle m'aimait. Et maintenant je l'ai quittée, je m'en vais. J'avais quand je l'ai connue tant d'espoir dans le cœur. Mais j'ai bien compris qu'avec elle je n'aurais pas de bonheur. Quand l'autre soir je l'ai trouvée dans notre bras très fort serré, je n'ai pas pu le supporter, je m'en vais. Dans la vie, quand on s'aperçoit qu'une fille ne vous aime plus, il faut aller chercher ailleurs l'amour qu'on a perdu. Et moi je sais que je vais découvrir un autre amour bien plus fort. Et si ce n'est pas pour demain, eh bien je chercherai encore. Tant pis si tout est gâché, une de perdue, 10 de retrouvée. Moi je prends ma liberté, je m'en vais. Dans ce train qui s'en va là-bas, mes souvenirs s'éloignent de moi. Je m'aperçois que je l'oublie déjà et je m'en vais.
Can I confide in you, Conrad?
Maybe you should.
Well, I trust you, my friend. I always have. You have a face I can trust. It's very round.
Thank you.
I would like you to probe my wife.
Come again?
I fear my beloved has taken a lover, and I have these premonitions that only a husband would have that tell me she's fallen into another man's arms. She goes to Burger King at 2 a.m. This notion is vexing. Makes me want to cry or kill. You wouldn't know anything about the subject, would you?
No. Oh.
Good show. Question her and see if you can get down to the truth of the matter.
Maybe I'm not the best person for domestic issues.
Nonsense. And don't be afraid to blow the bastard's head off if you find anything out. You have my permission as your host.
Gin and tonic, Archie. So, Conrad,
Sebastian?
how's the newspaper business treating you?
The internet is hurting more than one way.
Conrad,
Sebastian?
I hate to cut you off with all your talking, but I haven't stepped foot in a church in many years, and I have something I need to confess. And I hope you have the journalistic integrity not to publish what I'm about to say.
Go on.
I've been screwing my brother's wife.
For how long?
8 years.
Haven't they been married for 7?
I intend on asking her to come away with me tonight.
What about your brother? Won't this be an issue?
Business will suffer, that's for sure. But we've survived the recessions. I'm sure we can overcome this. My brother does own a large assortment of firearms, So if you're to hear screaming later, I suggest you hit the deck or run.
In fact, one afternoon, Father had the president over to talk about the legalization of euthanasia over badminton.
Interesting.
So, what sort of vacation plans do you have?
Well, I've always wanted to visit Jackson, Mississippi.
Scotch. Neat. Thank you, Darzell. So, what sort of opinions do you have of our gracious hostess?
Opinions?
Well, let me put it to you this way, old boy. Would you consider watering her lady fields with your man hose if Arthur weren't in the picture?
I don't think that's respectful.
I have. Many times. I can hardly stand to be in the same room and not be inside her. I'm going to ask her to go away with me.
Excuse me, but I was under the impression that you were a homosexual.
Well, that's what makes this affair all the more perplexing. It's cosmic.
Yeah, I'm gonna elope with her.
What?
You know, elope, run off, get married.
Not you too.
Yeah, Stu, Isabel and me.
Thanks, Skippy. Now, what about your girlfriend? Isn't she with child?
Nah, man, we ain't have kids yet.
Why, you look positively dreadful, my dear Conrad.
It has been an interesting afternoon.
Tell me about it. I can keep a secret.
I dare not. I'm afraid it involves you and another man.
How scandalous. Well, why should I love another man? I'm perfectly happy with Arthur. He gives me everything I need.
But does he give you everything you want?
Conrad, you old flirt. To be quite honest, I'm not happy. I long for a man to tell me he loves me and make it sincere. Sweep me off my feet and take me to the land of happily ever after.
Isabel, I have loved you since the first moment I laid eyes on you. I remember you were sitting right over there and you were eating an omelet. And God, I wanted to be that omelet. I want to marry you. I want to love you. I want to worship you for the goddess that Providence destined you to be. A slap in the face from you would be like a kiss from 1,000 angels.
How dare you, you piece of garbage!
What is it? What happened, my darling?
This gossip column has propositioned me!
In my own bloody home, you bastard! Never trust around friends.
Hey, wait, Arthur. I only said I loved her. They are the ones that have been screwing her.
Is this true?
No, absolutely not.
Be honest.
Yes. Well, maybe Father. You times ago.
Thank you, Jameson. At least I have one true friend around here. My name is Carl.
What?
Carl. Not Jameson, not Fritz, not Durrell, not Kunta Obama Kente.
How dare you take that tone of voice with me?
I quit.
Hey man, who's gonna open my beer when you're gone?
You're lazy as can. Oh, and I'm also taking your old lady with me to Vegas.
The Negro? I thought we had something that only poets could describe.
I would have never guessed. May your journey be filled with positive energy, and may the Mother Goddess bless you.
I love you so much, bitch. Do you have any cold cuts? No. Okay, then.
So, dear reader, this book is as much of an admission of justifiable homicide as it is a book of how 5 unlikely men, who had there been better electrical services and departmental inspections on that particular elevator on that particular day, might never have known each other, or been torn asunder as friends by the woman who caused the elevator affair.
After a while, when you filmed a lot, all you do is look at the stuff from the past and think of everything you would change. But we had not a lot of time. We did this all in a day, and not an exceedingly long day, actually, to be honest, because we planned it pretty well. We had 2 primary locations. We had a hotel and we had a house, and so we just had to know. And I was insistent on doing the. If you've seen Goodfellas, anybody seen Goodfellas ever? That long shot. I was like, I found the French song. I was like, we're doing that shot, which that took a while. But anyway, we planned and we prepped, and that made it better. But it all started with the lookbook. So a lookbook, again, is more of visual. You've already done kind of something sort of like this with the production design when you were talking about, the visualization of what you're writing. Like, so seeing the picture that kind of corresponds with it. So this is where you kind of just splat all your ideas so the people working with you get an idea of what it is you're wanting to do. And since I was doing poetic realism, which is, it's all about, not completely, but a lot of it is based on being in love with someone else. This person's in love with this person's in love with this person. So I kind of wanted to mimic that narrative style, but also the visual. I wanted it to try and look older, even though it's modern. I wanted the language to kind of be, a little bit like you would see in the 20s, 30s, 40s, kind of a decade like that. So really what you're doing is you're going out and you're collecting all these pictures that kind of help represent it. And you're breaking it down. So one thing that I did was I found, this is the movie that it's really based off of. And so I just found, for when I'm like working with my crew, I had examples. So that one shot where they're standing by the tree, I just use this as my, a really low angle 2 shot. So I have something visual that I could start to show people. So you can bring in links to stuff perfectly fine. And just basically anything that you're wanting people to watch for. So the other thing that's important with the poetic realism was the framing and the camera movement and the lighting. It was very evenly lit as much as we can get it, and tons of light. So you had deep focus. So you were kind of seeing the foreground as well as you were seeing the background, and it takes a tremendous amount of light. More light than we had for elevator. We had to rack focus to just, for if something was going on in the background, but trying to get it so that was definitely the inspiration moving forward. Just a little, synopsis of what it's about. Anything that you need your audience, your crew members, anything that they need. So they can understand what to do. So you go in and you get it shot as quickly as possible. So the visual structure, I wanted to use squares. I wanted it to feel more like a painting when you're seeing things. Wes Anderson, if you've seen like the Grand Budapest Hotel or Rushmore or the Royal Tenenbaums, he uses very similar staging where it's more like a painting that you're watching. So the house that we shot in, I really didn't have to do much to it. That's just how it just looked like an old antique store, beautiful house. It was the parents of the woman I was dating at the time. It was like the most ideal location, and they just, the walls were just littered in frames, so it was kind of perfect. But just kind of keeping that idea of I wanted squares to be in there to make it feel very kind of rigid, storybooky, and also just kind of like a painting. I wanted to find lines as much as I could to kind of help show that depth. So again, just finding stuff that's out there that helps represent what you're going for, but we were kind of trying to play with the concept of what's going on in the background at the exact same time. And how does your eyes actually get to where they need to look? The other thing that the French realism did a lot of was class systems and class structures. Usually it's someone poor in love with someone rich in love with someone poor. So I wanted to play with the idea of how do we show class and how do we show different things. So I used alcohol. The two brothers are drinking like, really fancy stuff. And then it kind of, on down to the last guy, he's drinking like Pabst or Bud Light or, so just kind of showing the idea of different classes through not only their, just kind of who their character is, but how do I show that visually? So that was one way. I tried to do this, the more important they were, the closer they were to the camera. That was maybe a little bit a harder one to achieve than I wanted to, because at the end of the day, it was like, we just needed to get it shot, and it was kind of complicated to block, but it was something worth going for. The wealthier they are, same thing. It was kind of a good concept. It was kind of a little bit more difficult to execute with time. But it was just a way of trying to show status. I wanted to I use this just as an idea, the awkward family photo. Just kind of everything for those opening shots is just this like really awkward look that they're gonna have at the beginning. Have any of y'all ever seen those books for sale? They're like a perfect gift at Christmas or Hanukkah or Easter or birthdays or anything. They're just universally hilarious. It's people's actual awkward family photos. So again, playing with that idea of class, I had the servant in the background for all the movie until he's at the forefront. And that was just to kind of show that they, in the characters' world, they weren't playing on an even playing field. So, again, deep staging, putting characters further back, stuff like that became pretty important. Same with the wardrobe, kind of trying to show their station in life at the time. And how do we differentiate? How do we make sure costumes don't all look the same? Generally, I'll just have actors bring 4 or 5 different things if we don't have time to prep ahead and plan what it's going to be. So for that one, I think that's, I sent everybody what look I was going for and just said bring 4 or 5 things. The reason it was a little harder is because we were shooting in black and white. We actually shot in color, obviously, first. So knowing how that color looks in black and white was kind of what made it difficult. We wanted everybody to stand out in their own way. Again, picture frames, just kind of important part of the story. What does the production design look like? What do I want the rooms to kind of look and feel like? So anyway, that is a lookbook. Definitely more visual of what the story is going to be. So this is your first step. This is your homework for this week, along with making adjustments to your final script. All right. So again, you're really just looking for things like, what is the mood, what's the visual style, things that are really portraying what's out there. I think on the directions, what I'm going to have you do for the lookbook, so kind of one page for everything that's different. Let me come over here. I go a little bit more in depth. Okay. Just pick 4 categories is kind of like the main thing that you want to do. And that I'm not going to be too specific on what they need to be. So I've given you some options like character, location, costume, color, and just a page. It could be pictures, it could be words with it. If you want to do a slight overview, I obviously know what the script's about, but you can make it a little bit your own. You could do other things to consider too, which is shot size, framing, lines, props, anything that you feel is important to convey to. It's a little like a mood board. Just what do we need to know? What are the important things? What do you find to be the most important? And you can do as many as you want. I'm just requiring 4 different things. You can design it however you want. If you want to find a template on Word or Google or something and just plot it into there. There's no right or wrong reason. Does it grab my attention and does it explain what you're trying to do? So that is the lookbook. And then for your final shooting script, one thing that you need to add to do to that is add right in here these scene numbers. And Keltex has a way of doing that. Before we go, I'll pull up Keltex and show you how to do it on there. But basically, every time there's a new scene heading, you have a scene number that corresponds with it, and that helps you plot and plan what you're going to do. Which kind of brings us to the next part. Now, a lot of this is not due next week. I will post on Blackboard and open it up for you to turn in. But I didn't want to overwhelm you with too much at once. But you can go ahead and start working on these things if you want. And in the next day or two, I'll open it up on Blackboard for you to be able to turn it in if you want. But one of the things that I'll have you do, it's called a lined script. Basically, once you have your scene numbers, you start to pick out your shots that you would want to do. And what you do is you take your script, hopefully a little bit bigger. You take your shot numbers and then you're basically editing it on paper. So each line corresponds to a shot that you want to do. So for instance, we see 24A WS. Anyone want to take a guess at what WS means in the lingo of a shot size? Wide shot, exactly. So they know for scene 24, we're going to shoot the whole scene in a wide so that we have it. And then 24B, we see is a CU. What do you think CU is? Beautiful. So you can start to see the different things. 24D, a medium close-up. 24E is an insert. That letter corresponds to how many different shots you have in a scene. So instead of saying 24-1 to represent the first shot, you use a letter to represent the number of shots. So this has 24A is a wide shot, 24B close-up, 24C close-up, 24D medium close-up, 24E insert. So you have 5 shots. So in that scene where we pick up and move the camera, we add a letter to it instead of a number. So the next thing that you would want to do, and you could probably even do this before the line script if you want. Sometimes doing the line script helps you pick out what you want to do for what's called the shot list, which is just where you put the shots you're going to do to paper. You kind of do the exact same thing as what was on the other side, but we're going to add a little bit more information. There's no right or wrong way necessarily to do this, and I have already put a template on Blackboard for you. It's just a Word doc, and you can populate it as you want. So you can see here, we have 2 different scenes. We have scene 1 and we have scene 2. Once you've done your line script, or you can start with this one, it doesn't really matter. Now you explain in more detail what those shots are. So 1A, a close-up. No, how could be both a close-up and a wide shot? I've never noticed that. We'll say it's a wide shot. It's eye level, it's on a dolly, interior, day, and then a description of what it is. So that's a shot list where you kind of break it down a little bit more. And that's where you start that film that projects in your mind when you're thinking about your story. That's where you start composing what are those shots going to be. Definitely always go, when you go in somewhere, try and get your wide shot first. That way, if something goes wrong, hey, at least you got your wide shot. And then kind of break it down accordingly into, you can kind of see on this one, ECU, extreme close-up, ECU, extreme close-up, ECU, extreme. So we're going from a wide shot, wide shot, medium shot. So get those wides and mediums definitely first. Cool. So that's what your shot list will look like. Again, this is not next week that this one's due. Just the lookbook for right now. I'm just kind of going to go through everything. So if you do want to get a jump start, you can. We have these other things called call sheets, which is just a way of keeping your day organized as well. And your crew. Presumably you're going to have, you won't be there by yourself. You'll have other people, and there's information that they need to know. Where's the examples? Hang on. Okay. For some reason they're in the wrong spot. So I have examples on Blackboard as well. But here you go. You can really make these however you want, as simple or complex. The professional ones are like super long. They have so much detail on them. It's like, you know, what time are we getting the actor? I mean, it's crazy detailed. And so when you're going home for the night, they pass out the sheets for the next day. And most of the information won't necessarily pertain to you. It's kind of a breakdown of what tomorrow is going to be. But this will be good for you and your actors. You can design it, like I said, however it's going to make sense to you. What you're doing basically is communicating the logistics of the shoot. What is the address of the place that you're going to be? What is the parking? Are you going to shoot somewhere that's complex that has certain rules to where you're going to be? Park over here, bathrooms are over here. You're kind of putting that down. What's everybody's call time? What are, even just what are different people's roles? I mean, here we're kind of limited. We have just cameras and not a whole lot else to work with. But you would see this like, you've seen the credits in a movie. It's like, dozens upon dozens of people that are on set. So you can kind of take these two examples and you might say, well, there's not a lot of information about mine. I'm just bringing a couple of my friends. And this is way too detailed. Okay, I would agree. But you can look on here and like, get as detailed as you want. You can even kind of go to the extreme. Like, what is your phone number in case a crew member can't be there, a cast member can't be there? What is a cast phone number in case they're not showing up? And you tell your friend, I don't know where my actor is. I'm trying to fool with the camera. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. They have a call sheet now where they can call the actor and say, where are you? Honestly, this is coming handy. There's a notes and direction. What is the nearest hospital? It comes up where you might need it. Again, take it as far as you want. One thing that is, depending on when you're going to shoot, that you see on there is when is sunrise and sunset. So you kind of have a time of when okay, that we're going to lose the sun if we're shooting outside by this time. So we need to go fast. If you do happen to find yourself in that situation, I can't even remember who I learned this from. Hold your hand up to the horizon and count how many fingers is horizon and the sun. And for every finger, it's 15 minutes that you have before the sun's down. Weird rule, but again, if you happen to be shooting outside and you don't know if you're fighting the sun going away, that's a good way of doing it. But just anything that you feel like needs to be in there, that is a call sheet. You'll do kind of an overview calendar. That could just be something on a Word document. What are the dates and times for your pre-production? Are you having a rehearsal? Are you going to scout? Are you doing a table read? What are the dates and times for those? What are the days that you're shooting? Plan out. I'm going to plan to shoot from 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. on this date at this location. Again, you can format this however you want. It will help, and it'll help the people that you wrangle in to help you do this. Then they can see you're organized, and they'll want to be involved. If you could go to an actor or get one of your friends to come and do this, and you come with this paperwork, they are so much more likely to say yes, knowing they might be giving up 6, 10, 20 hours, however long it's going to take, to help you get this. They'll know you're organized and that they're just not, losing a day because you're not organized. So it will really help. Again, you can even put in the post-production, the editing, what are your days, what's your regimen going to be for editing that you can stick to? Because obviously I understand you all have more classes. It's kind of why I'm giving you this now, that you have the rest of October and November to kind of do this with too. And then maybe mark down when your due dates are, just so you have something easy to refer back to. Locations, don't just go for easy. You might as well go a little all out. So if, unless you have like the perfect location that you already like live in, I know a lot of people, they'll just be like, I'm just going to use my house because it's here. And then I'd have students say that all the time. And yeah, it is. And it's much easier to film in your own house. But you have one poster of Reservoir Dogs on a blank white wall. Everything else looks boring. Ask around, see if you can find a house that looks a little bit more cinematic. It's got a little bit more production value already built in. Obviously, if that's all you can get is your house or a friend's house or something, that's easy. But go out and scout, look around. Post on social media what you're looking for. See if anybody can help you out in terms of finding a location. I'm not adding this to the list in terms of getting a document signed that you have permission to be there, but generally speaking, I'll probably post that and say, hey, this is a good idea. If you're using somebody else's property of any kind, a car, anything like that, get something in writing. 2 stories that stand out. I had 2 students who didn't do it when I did require that they get something signed. And a chair broke at this old guy's house. And he tried to sue him for like $5,000 for like this crappy chair. Like, I'm not joking like that. He's like suing them over a broken chair. I don't think there was anything they could do. I think they ended up having to pay they're like, we'll just buy you a new one. It was like $100 or something. So that happens. I've had this happen too. If you think it's a public field, make sure. I had students in Conway, they thought they were in a public field. They were walking on someone's farm. And he shot at them. Not making it up. It happened. He shot at them. I thought they were joking when they said it. But, so yeah, do your scouting. Make sure you have permission. Get it in writing if you can. If you don't entirely trust someone, get something in writing that says it protects you and it protects them. So I'm not guessing that's going to be a giant issue right now, but it doesn't hurt. When you go and scout, take pictures. It doesn't have to be specific, but then when you show people, like, you'll have a good idea of what the room looks like and what you can do with it, and it can help with your blocking. So that'll be part of the scouting side of things. Okay, just for fun, I don't know how we're doing on time. Yeah, we're good.
All right, what are we doing here? I hear a grandfather clock. Yeah. It's an impending sign of doom.
Find a quiet location to film because you can't afford to pay him to close business.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Cam, and we're back with the Hollywood Hack. And today we are filming at Jennifer's Antiques.
So nice.
It is very nice. The nice display you see behind us was done by Donna Benton from Waterhouse Market. And we're doing a little filming for Space Bug Studios today and thought we'd stop in and say hi to you guys and kind of give you a few tips and hacks about filming on location for a no-budget project.
Right now, we are literally shooting in what is an antique store on one side and a diner on the other.
You know, when they...
Hack number 1, scout your location.
You can never be too prepared. And take your crew with you when you go, because everybody's going to be looking for something different.
What do you think, Egon?
I think this building should be condemned. There's serious metal fatigue in all the load-bearing members. The wiring is substandard. It's completely inadequate for our power needs. And the neighborhood is like a demilitarized zone.
You want to be far enough away from things like refrigerators, things that'll make noise. Look above you, see what piping is above you. Are there air conditioning ducts?
Make sure you have power outlets.
That's important for your gaffer to know. Where are they going to plug in? So if you're not there before, you don't know what you're going to get.
Right, yeah.
Go there, scout, see what it is. Everybody just kind of be quiet here and there and see, are there any little buzzes, hisses, things like that that are going on. Another thing to know is know the place where you're shooting and know what's right next door. Right now, we could be shooting next to a place that in 5 minutes, it's going to be ladies' night, happy hour kind of a thing.
Magic Mike's going to burst through the door.
Bumping techno music. And, you know, if you didn't know that ahead of time, you're going to be in trouble. You've got that one pivotal scene that's between mother and her daughter, and it's about to get emotional, and then, yeah, the techno music starts hitting.
Now we're right next to the railroad tracks, so we've had a few trains come by. Somebody didn't call Big Railroad and stop the train schedule.
Airplanes, things like that. Are you next to an airport? That can be a big one.
Or does the government have an easement on the land? They're going to come through, rolling through with some tanks.
Fellas! All right, we got some big news for you guys. Dorm Troopers, our first feature film, is now on instant streaming on Amazon Prime.
Okay, so, again, we're not really tackling audio in the traditional sense, like with booms and all of that, but it still is important to know where you're going to be and really do know what's around you. It will start to get to be a giant headache if you don't take that 30 minutes that you might take to go scout a location could turn out to be 3 hours of a headache once you're actually on set. Okay, so now you got your shot list, you have your scouting, and you have all of that. Now you kind of take your paper to image. So I'll have you pick one of 3 things to do. The first one, and I like this one, is just an overhead. Basically, you map out the room as much as you can, and then on your shot list, you'll add in those numbers to where your camera is. I bought a program that does this. You can just draw it too. So you're basically showing in the room where the camera's going to be, where the actors are going to be, where the furniture is going to be, and then, you know, you can kind of label it from there. Shot 1A, shot 1B, shot 1C, shot 1D, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, this makes sense. This is where the camera's going to be. If you had a really big crew, this is like really good for the lighting people, like to kind of see where everything's going to be, and you can just kind of take it from there. It's just a rough diagram of the space in which a scene takes place. You kind of chart out the primary players, the characters, what their blocking is going to be. So if they're moving, you would just draw arrows between each spot. What are the camera setups and what is the camera movement? So just a simple arrow to indicate point A to point B. If you can draw, storyboards are great. Even if you're not a great drawer, just even stick figures sometimes do really well. Again, it just kind of shows what's going on in the scene. I've done like 2 storyboards in my life. I usually will have the DP that I hire do it for me. Like we'll talk about it and then they'll work on it first, and then we'll go back and do it together. Um, what I like to do, and is to me just a little bit easier, is I just go and take pictures of my shot, which is called photo boarding. So instead of having to take time to draw it out all out, you can take photos. It's best if you take them at the location if you can. If you can't, just get a good sense of what the shot's going to look like. Is it a wide shot? Is it a close up? You know, whatever. Just to kind of have that on there. I just find it to be the not easiest. Like I'm looking for an easy way out, but it's easier, and I think it communicates better to your cast and crew what the shots are going to look like. All right. So the big wrap up here is prep. Prep will take everything to the next level. So just being aware of that. Okay, now let's look at this. So again, your lookbook and your final draft of your script, those are what you're going to focus on first this week. I'll have you do a calendar as well. Like I said, your location report, just go and take a couple pictures of where the location is going to be and write just a brief description of that location. You can kind of see on here anything to think of while doing that. Your shot list, scene, shot size, or your shot size, angle, and everything like that. You can use a template that I've used on Blackboard. Just download it. You can keep it simple, and as much as you want. And then you can pick either a storyboard, overhead, or photo boards, and just show me what it is you're planning on doing. These you're going to have a little bit more time with. Like I said, I'll open up individual spots for each one of these on Blackboard, but I wanted to give you extra time if you want to get ahead on this. So it's all posted on there, and the dates are all there. And then a call sheet for each day of your production. Again, it's what's the pertinent information for your crew? What do they need to know? And really just enjoy this process. This will be a cool opportunity. I'm really excited about y'all's creativity. I find this to be a very creative class. Everybody's coming up with some pretty cool ideas, and I think the scripts are turning out really good. Does anybody have any questions on this first part? No? Are we good? Okay. So, I think that takes care of all of that. Let me just look on here and make sure I added down on here. We're doing a lot of stuff. The next part of your bare bones reading, I have, and I'm just giving you a lot of time. Probably if you've done it now, you'll know it's not that crazy of a hard read. So November 24th, when that date comes, I'll probably give you a final exam, which will be take home, which I'll have you look up definitions from the book and just write them out. That'll be the end of it. But if you've read it ahead of time, you'll know what to look for. Again, don't forget your film journal. A lot of people put it off till the end, but this is a nice, easy thing to just kind of get you going. I have examples for the lined page. Here's the template for the shot list, call sheet example, and a lookbook example. Here's the overview and the calendar of everything that we kind of talked about. So that should get you kind of moving in the right direction. And then again, lookbook and final draft is all I'll have you do this week. All right. Can you get the lights for me? Let's go ahead. Let's read our scripts, and let's just have a little fun with these. I'm gonna project it up there, so we're gonna need some volunteers to help read. But if I could get a copy of your script, that will be very helpful. Okay. Do y'all need like a quick break, 5-minute break, get up and stretch? All right, cool. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, while we take 5, I'm going to download the rest of them. Thank you. Thank you. This was cool. Well, they were all cool, but I was like, that's just the title and how you ended it. It was fun. Awesome. Would you want to do yours first? Did you need to?
Oh no, she's not here.
Okay. I just remember the last name. I wasn't sure who was.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sure, yeah. Take, we'll come back at like 7:30 if y'all need to just kind of go and move. Or 6:30, I'm sorry. My clock's off on this.
So just come back at 7:30.
Oh, yeah, this is still on Eastern time.
I don't have a paper copy of my script.
Okay, I will, I'm gonna just download everybody's. I think some of them, when I open this up, they weren't all in there. Remind me your last name? That's okay. So I got yours. So you'll be good. We'll just put it up there.
I can read it from my computer.
Okay. Yeah, that works. And just, I would say take notes. Yeah, because I don't think I was having Blackboard was not cooperating well with that.
Program intelligence is on what's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not bad for a free software. I had Final Draft for years, and I switched over to using that just because like it does just as good. Unless you need to do something super fancy, then you're good. Okay, so I got yours. Gwen, what is the title of your script?
10 seconds to choose.
Okay.
That should be what I remember.
Let's see. Not the missing? Okay. On here, you're Anna. That's why. At the high school, the kids now, like, they'll turn in work and it's like their nickname of the week. And I'm always like, who is this? Okay. Got yours. She's not here.
How was your wife?
She's finally, she still is having issues with breathing, but she's better. Like there was one really bad day, and then you could see she made the turn and was better. But like I'd never seen 103 temperature before on someone, and so it was like, oh god. So we haven't been married that long either, so it's like one of those sicknesses that just brings your marriage to a different level. Yeah, thank you for your concern. She's doing a lot better. Yeah, yeah, it went from less than a pound, like it was itty bitty. It was like that big when we got it, and there's two women on our block that feed the feral cats, and so the whole neighborhood is just lousy with these cats everywhere. Every time I go outside, there's like 4 cats in the backyard. But I guess one of them had puppies, and the neighbor she just had them in a box out in the front yard, and it was like raining, and like, yeah, like, we'll take them. So they took 2, and I guess there was a third, and I didn't know about it, and she ran over the third with her car. I'm like, lady, if she wasn't 90, I know she can't take care of them, but yeah, they're cute, and I've never owned a cat, so it's been fun. It's been interesting. I'm so much more of a dog. Like I've just had dogs my whole life, so I know how they operate. The dog's doing fine with them, but yeah, cats are kind of fun.
I've always been the exact same way. I've always had dogs. And, well, I kind of wanted a cat. My girlfriend got a cat.
Mm-hmm.
She was the same. She was a little bitty, and now she lives at my house in Myron.
Okay.
And I'm not getting it back.
Years now. It's fun. They come, you open the door, and they're like, here we are. Yeah, they're fun. Okay. Let's see what we got here.
I'm glad that your wife has made the turn for the better.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know she works at the school at the front desk, and so they're excited too, because I think they've had to cover for her. But yeah, I appreciate your concern. Thank you very much. All right, so the first one I have here is yours. All right, so I'm gonna have you read. Can you see it from there? Do y'all need me to zoom in a little more? See it pretty good. Can you read all of the direction? So like the fade in and all the direction and that stuff. And then I need River. I need someone to play River for me.
Is River a boy or a girl?
You can cast if you would like. You get to direct this. You want to cast? Okay. Can I get a volunteer for River?
I'm afraid my voice is a little too deep for River.
River? Okay. I will supply Chip the dog, I guess. I could do that much. And then we have Bria. Can I get a volunteer for Bria? Awesome. And then, do we have any more? Who do we have left? I think that's the only character. Is this? Oh, Bria's mom. Can I get a mom? There we go. All right. And the title of this again is? That's a good title. All right. Take it away. Yes, please.
River Adele walks the park with her dog Chip.
Come on, Chip. I want to go home.
Woof.
All right, fine. One more lap around.
Chip and River take off running down the trail. External, a different part of the busy park in the afternoon. Bria Zoll climbs out of the bush.
Can you scroll down?
Oh, my bad, yeah. I should have had you come down to do that. Can I get a volunteer to do the scrolling for me? Thank you. This way I can note as I go. You can have the chair too. Hi.
Maria looks around and sees people that look like her. They're holding tiny square things that confuse her. She starts walking towards the tree in the distance.
Odd detail. Maybe this is where I need to go.
External, another part of the busy park in the afternoon. River and Chip are running down the trail. They see Bria walking towards the woods. Then she runs straight into the tree. River and Chip run over.
Oh my gosh, are you okay? Woof.
I think I'm okay. Where am I?
You're in the park.
What's a bark?
River helps Bria up. Bria rubs her forehead.
Woof.
Ah!
Bria falls to the ground again.
This is Chip. She's from, I promise.
What's a chip?
River looks at Bria with concerned face. She helps her up.
You must have hit your head hard. What's your name?
Grizzle.
I've never heard that name before. Where are you from?
Pluto.
River looks even more concerned.
Okay. I'll take you to the hospital.
I don't need to go to this place you call a hospital. I need to get home.
Okay, if you're from Pluto, how'd you get here?
I don't know. I woke up in a bush.
Okay, then, let's go find this bush.
River, Bria, and Chip head off in the way Bria came from. External, a different part of the busy park in the afternoon. They are almost to the bush Bria came from.
What is that?
It's an ice cream truck.
What's ice cream?
You really are from a different planet, aren't you?
That's what I've been trying to tell you. I woke up in the bush right there.
They arrive at the bush. Chip starts to bark at the bush. Something is in there. River bends down and grabs it.
What's this?
That opened portals on my planet. It must have come with me.
Bria grabs it and opens the battery.
Power rods are missing.
River grabs the remote and looks at it.
Do you mean that? Well, I saw those in my house.
Internal house in the evening. River, Chip, and Bria are outside the door. You hear a thump on the other side of the door.
Ow.
River opens the door and holds it open for Bria. Bria walks in, rubbing her nose.
You don't have doors on your planet?
We do. They just open by themselves.
River walks out of the room and rustles for 5 seconds and comes back with some batteries. She puts them in the controller while Bria watches. She hands the controller to Bria.
There you go.
Bria takes the remote and presses some buttons. A door appears on a wall in Bria's living room. Chip gets scared and runs out the door that wasn't shut all the way.
Chip.
River runs after Chip. Bria is seen standing there looking back and forth between the open door and the door that disappears. She decides to run out the door. External in the road in the afternoon. Wait, that should be evening. Hang on.
I'll make a note for you.
Bria sees Chip running in the road. She points the controller and pushes the button.
Chip!
River closes her eyes. The camera stays on River. Her eyes open after a second and she looks relieved. The camera shows all of them again. The car is gone and there's smoke where it was. Chip is sitting there with her ears in the air. River runs to her and Bria follows.
Chip, you're okay. Thank you, Bria.
No problem.
What's wrong?
I won't be able to open the portal for a while now. I'm lucky I was able to open that one. It takes a while to recharge. I have no clue how long it will take on our planet.
There's a flash of light behind Bria, but we are facing River and Bria's side. The light is gone.
Bria?
Bria sees River pointing and turns around. There is a woman standing there.
Mom!
I have can forget you know better not to sleep with the controller on your controller.
Yeah, I know. I guess that's how I ended up here.
Bria turns around to River and Chip.
I can go home now.
Yeah, I guess you can. Woo.
Bria goes to hug River. Chip jumps on them as well. The hug lasts for about 3 seconds.
Thanks for saving Chip.
I couldn't let something bad happen to her. She's my friend too.
Well, I'll miss you.
I'll miss you too. Here, I can contact you with this. It's like the square thing I saw at the park.
Oh, this is awesome. Now I can still talk to you.
Bria smiles and walks towards her mom. Her mom makes another door for her.
Bye, River. Bye, Chip.
Bria and her mom go through the door. They're gone.
dog that can do all this for you?
No. My dog's name is Chip, but she's dumb, so. I was hoping for the part, I mean, for the barking part, I was like, I could just like put a sound over it, or I would do it as a stuffed animal, or I'd write her out, which I really didn't know which one to do.
You could dress someone up as a dog.
Yeah, I guess that too.
You could do that.
Oh, dogs are, even the best of them, hang on, I wanted to make sure, but the second, the second you get on set, they don't ever act the way they're supposed to. But yeah, you could I mean, if you found one, that will be the most difficult part of your production. I say if you can find it, go for it, but just know, I mean, really, there's not a lot you can do. If you can find somebody whose dog gets excited and just barks, what we've done is just get them to that, like, get a shot just of them barking, you know, at your location, and then, you know, just, you can use that as an insert. The running and that stuff. Overall, I think it's good. It's really not that hard of one. Some things to do, make sure your major props, because you have a couple, make sure those are fully capitalized. And then, this is kind of a weird one, but the parentheticals don't capitalize at the beginning. Other than that, pretty good. What I would also do, you have twice, I've learned this the hard way, where it just says different part of a busy park. I would, I think you have that twice. What I would do is exterior park dash, and then something kind of specific about it, even if it's like, busy park 1, or, I don't know, the west side of the park, and then the other one, the east side. So when you go and do your shot lists, and you break down your different scenes, it'll be organized a little more, so that it's just not, okay, which one of these busy parks are we doing now? Are we doing this seat or that seat? So it'll be a little bit clearer, for it, but, overall, really good. This was fun. I thought it was gonna be, not that it's not sci-fi, but when I started reading, I'm like, oh, is she gonna get in trouble? Like, is there gonna be spaceships and all the CGI? But I think it's easy. I don't think it's that hard. So there's some extra notes for you. Again, well done. Okay. Let's see. Knock, knock. Shall we move on to that? Knock, knock, knock. This will be good. All right, how many characters? Thank you. I'll just get us to the right script. Do you want to keep doing this?
Sure.
You don't have to.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I don't know why on this computer, Adobe's like, all of a sudden, I hope someone in here becomes a professor, because you'll know what I go through, like with technology, every class, something somewhere doesn't work. Adobe decided today I needed to re-sign in, and I'm not sure which email address I use. So we're using a pirated something or other. Okay. Ethan and Noah.
I think there's 4 characters.
Okay. Can I get an Ethan? I can play one of the male characters if you want to as well.
I'll be Noah.
You want me to do Ethan?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do Ethan and I can read the narrator?
Sure, I could do Ethan.
Okay. And then we have Jasmine, and who was the last?
I think it was somebody else with Jasmine. Who's Chase or something.
Okay.
I think we only have one target.
Okay. Would you mind doing Chase's one line for us? Thank you. All right. Here we go. Exterior college campus day. Ethan is walking back towards his dorm after a long day of classes. He is dreading the long study session back at his dorm. But the high spirits of passerbys keep his chin up. He sees his friend Noah walking ahead of him.
Hey man, how's calculus?
Painful.
Where are you coming from? Gonna have to study for that exam coming soon.
Finally picking up those books?
Yep, it's about time I put them to use.
Well, hope you don't take too long. Remember, we're supposed to hop over to Justin's place.
I'll be there, man. No worries. This shouldn't take me all night.
Whatever you say. 9 o'clock.
Noah waves Ethan as he continues ahead. Ethan pauses outside of his dorm before going inside. Interior dorm. First floor day. Chase and Jasmine are sitting at the front desk chatting. They both seem to be in high spirits. Jasmine smiles at Ethan as he walks in.
Ethan, hey, we're just having about you.
Yeah? What about?
Jasmine turns to Chase, grinning.
About how great you were at the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Ethan looks back and forth between the two, perplexed.
Okay.
Ethan continues to the elevator. Slating study time?
Yeah, like study time instead.
In his head, so he can get proper sleep tonight. The doors open to a mob of people crowded in the cramped box. Ethan struggles past them as they flood out into the hall. There's a calmness as he makes his way up to his floor and odd stillness. Interior dorm, 3rd floor day. The doors open to a crowded floor, frozen in place for a split second. Ethan doesn't notice. There's an obvious excitement throughout the room. People are chatting and playing games. Ethan walks past them and into the hallway. The sound of people fades as he nears his door. He fumbles with his keys. Ethan opens the door to a room covered in band posters, desks littered with papers and utensils. The same cold pizza sits on the same paper plate as when he left this morning. Ethan shakes his head at his roommate's uncleanliness as his door behind him begins to shut. He begins to unpack his backpack. The door finally shuts, and a deafening silence follows. A silence disturbing enough to get Ethan's attention. He turns toward the door with a puzzled expression.
Uh-huh.
Ethan nears the door and presses his ear against the crack between the wood and the frame. Nothing. Ethan quickly opens the door and he looks into the hallway. It's dark, darker than before. He pondered if the electricity had gone out, but a quick glance back at his room dispels that. The lights are still on. Ethan's thoughts then turn to the sudden silence. He steps out into the unlit hallway and creeps his way back into the now empty commons area.
Where did he go? Hello?
He calls out to the desolate floor, but receives no answer. Sunlight still peeks through the windows. He looks out. It's the same as before. However, all of the people who were raving outside only moments ago are now gone.
What is going on?
A light knock snaps Ethan's attention back into the building. Ethan quickly turns to see no one.
Hello?
Silence. His eyes wander the room searching for the source of the sound until they stop on an open door leading into an adjacent hallway. Ethan remains focused. Knock, knock. A godly-looking hand quickly slinks in and out of the door frame. Ethan makes a break for his room. As he does, he begins to hear pounding on the walls, getting closer and closer. He finally reaches his room, throws open the door, slams it shut, locking it. Ethan backs away slowly and quietly. He trips on his bio textbook that is now laid on the floor. He covers his mouth, heart beating. After a short while, all is quiet, not a single sound. Ethan's eyes are still fixated on his door. He then hears knocking all across the wall until they finally reach his door. Knock, knock. Very cool. Very cool. Well done. Cool. All right. I think it's good. One tiny thing is getting the parentheticals on their own line. And just some general notes. I think this is pretty cool. This part here, when he goes out in the hallway, I'd maybe have him go out and, this might be kind of hard to figure out how to do, but flips the switch and nothing happens. That might be more visual to clue us in, like his way of thinking. That was kind of my own story note. Any major props, I would make them fully capitalized. But yeah, it should be fun. That's a good one. Any notes? Did anybody have any thoughts or comments on this one?
Maybe you have an, at the end with all the knocking, you incorporate a heartbeat and you can't tell what is his heartbeat and what's the knocking. As the sounds like collaborate.
Yeah. Shoot, I know mine would be. But yeah, I like that. So this will be very sound driven too. So there might be a lot of post-production sound. I know we haven't really we just don't have the equipment here. But generally speaking, so like the horror scene, when y'all did that, how that director's talking, really what you do is you don't use the sounds all the time that are being done on set. You go in and add those in with what's called Foley. So you probably see like the horror, like you add footsteps, clothes, roughly. So for yours, there might be a lot of audio that kind of goes with it. It's very sound driven.
I've got I do music stuff, so I have like a big sound bank of a bunch of Foley.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
See if I can grab some of that.
And I would just say even like a good external mic when you're doing the actual shooting, and you should be good. But yeah, well done. Well done indeed. Let's see who's next. Okay. 10 seconds to choose. Remind me who's 10 seconds. Okay. Let's pull that up over here. Let's see. All right. All right, would you like to do the narration for this one? Perfect. And what about characters here? Who do we have?
There's 4 characters, but then there's the unknown, like, thing, but, so,
Okay, I can read unknown. Samson. Who would you like to be as Samson? Samson? All right, and then we have Reagan. Could you do Reagan for us? And Elizabeth, if you want to grab one, you can too. Feel free. Macy.
Okay.
You want to do Macy?
Sure.
Okay. And Lucas. All right, perfect. And cool. Let's see what happens here, folks. Take it away.
Segment, interior rooms, building startups. Reagan, a 19-year-old college freshman, walks into the building and towards a table. She sets down her belongings and begins doing homework on her laptop. She looks across the room and sees Samson, an ex-friend from high school, sitting at a table reading a book. They gaze at each other before they both look away. Exterior plaza. Macy, a 20-year-old college sophomore, also Reagan's cousin, is walking across the campus texting while listening to music through a pair of earbuds. Lucas, also an ex-friend from high school, almost trips her while he is running to class. Macy rolls her eyes and continues walking. Interior rental building Starbucks. Ding. Reagan looks down at her phone and sees a notification.
Meet me in room 102 in 10 minutes.
She looks up to see where Samson was sitting and find him no longer sitting there. Exterior plaza. Macy stopped in her tracks and she was looking at the same message displayed on her screen. Interior rentals hallway. Lucas runs into the building and tries to open the classroom door but finds it locked. Ding. Lucas pulls out his phone to find a message.
Meet me in room 102 in 10 minutes.
Interior room 102. Samson is sitting at a desk staring at the door. Reagan enters the room and is shocked to find him there.
Reagan? Why did you ask me to meet you here?
What are you talking about? You texted me. Why would I want to see you?
Macy enters the room and stops abruptly.
Samson? Reagan? What's going on? Why did you text me to come here?
Okay, this isn't funny. Someone better explain this.
Lucas enters the room. Reagan begins to feel frustrated.
What is this, a reunion?
That's the case. I'll gladly show myself out.
Samson makes his way to the door while the others are still standing there clueless about what is going on.
Well, whatever this is, I don't want any part of it either.
Lucas also makes his way to the door. Click, the door locks before either of them make it. Samson tries to twist the handle, but they will not budge.
It's locked.
No, you're just turning it wrong. Move. Out of the way, Lucas.
Macy moves past Lucas and shoves Samson out of the way. When she tries the handle, the door doesn't open.
Mason, bossy and pushy as always.
Shut up.
Listen, I'm not up to playing any of your games, Reagan. Open the door.
I didn't text you guys. I got the text too.
Well, if none of us sent it, then who did?
Ding, they all receive a message on their phone.
Choose someone to die or I will.
They all stare at their phones.
Reagan, after all this time, don't you think playing prank on us is a little immature?
I told you this isn't me.
So who would be doing this and why? It's safe.
Ding.
You have 10 seconds.
A timer displays on their phone screens. 10, 9, 8.
What? We can't do that. This is crazy.
This isn't real, it's a joke. We don't have to do anything.
Maybe we should just play along.
This is so stupid. Whoever this is, knock it off and unlock the door.
I can't stand this.
Countdown reaches 0. Alarm. They all stare at each other. Click. The door unlocks. They all look at the door. Samson twists the handle and the door swings open.
Okay, funny joke, guys. Great, now if you'll excuse me, I'd like to get back to my laptop at any minute.
Lucas walks out of the room without looking back. Macy looks back and forth between Reagan and Samson before leaving the room. Reagan turns to Samson.
I promise.
I believe you, but I'd like to punch the idiot that did it.
Samson and Reagan walk into the hallway. Fade out. Interior room of Starbucks. Reagan enters the building with her laptop in hand. She takes a seat at the table and begins doing her homework. She looks up to see Samson once again sitting and reading a book. Reagan waves and Samson waves back. Lucas enters the building and sits at a table. The three of them look at each other and continue minding their own business. Ding, all of them receive a message on their phones. Reagan looks at her phone to find another message.
You didn't choose, so I did.
Following the message is a link to a news article titled 20-year-old college sophomore Mason parents found dead in doorway, campus police investigating. 4 and 5, Reagan looks up to see Lucas staring shocked at his phone and to find Samson looking up from his phone to look at her. Ding, Reagan looks at her phone again.
Choose someone to die or I will.
Their phones go dark when numbers counting down.
Dun dun dun! Very good. Very good. The verbiage, the way you wrote this is very good. That's very screenplay-esque of the verbs present and active. So very good. Go ahead and add a time of day to your scene headings. That's my only production question is generating what you need for the screens for like the cell phones. Are you going to be able to do that?
I think so.
Perfect. I know sometimes that can get a little complex, but overall this is really good. That's pretty strong writing. Have you written a script before? No. Normally that's the thing that trips a lot of people up. And overall everybody's was pretty good, but that's yeah, exceptionally good. Very well done. All right. Rough draft script, person, that's you. Let's see. Draft script. Okay. What's that? 11, I believe, maybe 10. We have 2 who are on the cheer team and their practice is the same time as the class. We have someone in golf, and we have someone gone, and we just had someone drop. So I think we're at 10, I think. We had a few more at the beginning, I think we're at 12 at one point. It kind of felt like that, yeah. But yeah, there's quite a few who just can't ever make it. All right. would you like to play what? Do you want to be person?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry I don't have an name for them yet.
It's fine.
Yeah.
The names are obsolete, they change. I change the name of my characters all the time. Okay, well, then we need roommate. Do your roommate? Okay. I can do the, I'll do the narration. Okay. All right, a person walking around campus with their suitcase.
August 13th, 2021. Back in America once again. 4th year of college. Instead of it getting easier every year, it seems like it is only getting worse and harder each year. However, some sort of enthusiasm and adrenaline is still there. It always is. The only question is how long it is going to last this time before it wears off and the constant struggle of missing home begins. First year it held for quite a while. It only started getting bad towards the end of the year. Second year, the winter break was a breaking point, and last year I have had enough after a month. I guess my odds are not looking so great, but hey, it's worth a shot.
Person walking into a room, their new roommate is already inside, moved in and settled.
Hey, it is nice to finally meet you, Grace.
I know, right? We haven't talked before quite some time now, and it's too great. It's nice to see it because I'll finally fall into place for real.
I know, right? You seem cool over text. Hopefully we would not piss each other off while living together.
I sure hope you're right.
Honestly, I think I will just pass out right now. Then 20 hours flight got the best of me, and I have some meetings in the morning. I will catch up with you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Good night.
Person walking back from the gym.
That meeting went surprisingly well. The team seems cool and they are trying really hard to make me feel welcome. Man, we're even hitting a party tonight already. Maybe I finally have a college. Wait. Maybe I have finally found a college that feels like what I've seen in the movie. It might not be so bad here after all.
Fast forward to 2 weeks later when the first crisis kicks in. Person is laying in bed thinking.
I really, really want to go home. I'm reaching the point where I'm just going through the motions in order to get every day that comes with me over with, not thinking or enjoying anything I'm doing. And the fact that I'm aware of it just makes it worse. Every day I look the same, and this is going to be a long 9 months if I do not get it together.
Person wakes up at 5 a.m. to their alarm, lays in bed, scrolling on their phone, gets up and washes their face, chooses an outfit, packs a backpack, and grabs a snack, heads out. We'll just move it. Playing music in the room, makes their bed, crosses out a day until coming back home, calls their parents, calls their best friend, checks their emails and Blackboard, works on homework. And I'm guessing this was kind of a direction. Same scene repeats a couple of times since she was sense of passing, time passing. Another weekend is, the party is happening Saturday and everyone is going to be there in person and roommate discuss their weekend plans.
Yeah, we're going to catch the party tomorrow night.
Nah, I'm not gonna go to it. You were thinking of going?
No, you know me, more of a homebody. I was just asking to see if you want to keep watching Shameless with me.
Yeah, I already know that I will feel guilty about it later, but I really do not feel like socializing anymore.
Wow, what's that? Talk to me.
It is that I'm at home and every single day looks the same to me. I feel like I'm just going through the motions. I guess I just need that Christmas break to get out a little bit and check back. I'll be straight though, don't worry. But Shane's not like, let's kick it.
It's time to leave for Christmas for a week. Roommate is already gone and person is alone in the room packing.
Man, this time of the year always sucks. Everyone going home, spend time with their families, and you just know you're not where you're supposed to be. I'm not even get to speak my language or eat my own food for Christmas. I'm actually thankful for the people I have down in South Carolina, but during a time like this, everything just hits so much harder. I wish I could just teleport for a second.
Person goes back to school from the break, still alone in the room since roommate does not have to be back yet. The same cycle that was in effect before leaving kicks in again. Person wakes up at 5 a.m. to their alarm, lays in bed, scrolling.
This is the sad thing.
Yeah, gets back, heads out, kids, back up, showers, plays music room, makes her bed, crosses up days, no go back home, calls her parents, calls her best friend, checks email, Blackboard, works on homework, goes to sleep at 9 p.m. More time passes. Person and roommate are both in the room doing homework.
Okay.
Bro, I just realized I'm down to double digits. 99 days and I get to go home. I promise it's only up from here. I will be annoyed every time I reach a certain number. I'm so sorry.
I swear you're a trip. Let me know right now when I can expect you to act up again, just so I can know ahead of time to prepare myself.
Well, gotta celebrate that 50. They ain't gonna hear me when it's 30 because, obviously a month left, then 15. And man, when it gets to a week, you can just punch me because I know I'll be out of the morning.
To be honest, I can't even blame you. I'll be ready to get out of here so I can imagine how you feel. We're gonna miss counting down together, I promise you.
Bro, but I knew I could always count on you.
The last day of semester is here. A person is packing again and getting ready to leave for their flight.
We made it, my guy. We're finally out of here. I promise you, this summer is going up. Being stuck here took everything out of me. It's gonna take me a minute to realize I'm free.
I already know you're gonna be all over the place. Let me know when you make it, though. Be safe out there.
I appreciate you. I'll let you know as soon as I land. I will tell you, get the rest from August and have fun, but that's hard to do when you're actually from Arkansas.
Man, put up for a regular leg. You're not going nowhere.
I had that coming out, man. Catch you on the flip side.
Person leaves room, person is on the plane, different scenes of person having fun during the summer play. It is the end of August again, person is seen packing.
I promise you I would not have gone back if I was not graduating this year. It is no way I could have gone through that roller coaster again, knowing I'm doing it all just to do it again. Don't want to sound ungrateful, but it's not for everybody. I promise you it's way harder than it seems.
Very good. Okay, cool. So, what we gotta do now is we need scene headings for everything. And then, I'm going to, have you look up, montage. Because some of these are kind of like a montage. So basically, what you'll do is a scene heading, if it all takes place in one room, so like interior, dorm room, day, person does this, next line person does this, next line person does that. And you can number them, or you can just kind of, it's almost like bullet points for each one. But that's the main thing is, and email me too. I'll try and make a note to send it to you. I'll look for it. Just email me to remind me, and I'll show you how to do that format. We gotta find you a good mic, because this is so much VO. So the voiceover section, we might want to record somewhere that's not just a camera microphone, so we can find someone somewhere for you when we get to that point. That'll do it. But cool. I'm guessing that it's a very biopic film.
I mean, yeah, it is. And then I have a friend on the tennis team, and she's from Serbia, so we kind of go through the same thing.
Okay.
So I was gonna either have her I don't know. I got to figure it out.
That's because you're from Croatia, right?
Yeah.
Was it weird at all? Is
we
the
actually love it because we get to speak the same language.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know if, is there still tension between,
I mean, it is,
but not for,
but I was like, we're too young for that.
that's good, that's good. Is this you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to try and do a different one though.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because it doesn't really tell a story and it's not a script.
Okay. Do you want to wait and we can read it next, the
Yeah.
other script next week? Okay. Oh, do you have access to a plane?
No, but I wasn't gonna do it actually, like.
In a plane?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, that's why, wait, did I put it, she's in the plane?
I thought that towards the end,
I
not
thought
in
it
the
was more
plane,
just
but.
like preparing to go.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like, that's, like, I thought about it, I didn't wanna put it in the plane.
Yeah.
Because I knew I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
But it was just like preparing to go to the airport and stuff.
I'd be so impressed if you could. Just looking at this, formatting looks awesome. This is the only one, like, I think on your thing, like,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna change all that. That's all gonna be gone.
Okay, well, send it to me and I'll read it, and then we can read it in class
Okay.
if you want. Cool. All right, do you know what yours is labeled as?
think I misread how many pages it's supposed to be, so I might be a little short, but we can still look at it. Also, all of y'all was really good. So
Yeah, this is collectively y'all did some really good stuff. You should be proud. Script. All right. How many characters remind me? Oh, you stupid thing. All right.
I'll probably revisit it, and so everyone is welcome to tell me what they like.
Don't hold back. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm sure it'll be good.
I had I went to a screenwriting school. It was a summer long one in the Warner Brothers lot. It was cool. I got to live there, and I had some really good. Like one of my teachers was Biff from Back to the Future, and Ralph Winter, who did like X-Men, and the executive producer of that '70s show. So I had these like really cool teachers, but the guy in charge of it, he used to be the head reader for Warner Brothers. You could never get him to say, like, if you purposely wrote something bad, he could never give you like a bad no. It was really weird. Like when you're like, tell me what's wrong with it, because I know it could be better. He's just a nice guy. He's like, that's pretty good. That's good. What would you change? I don't know. Some of this shit was just like, oh, come on, man, I'm paying you a lot of money to tell me how to improve. So if you like that constructive, in-depth criticism, I'm kind of nice too, but I can definitely give it to you in a nice way. Don't let me forget to show you Caltex how to put the numbers in. Okay, so we have a Spencer and a Mark. And remind me, who's in a Katie? Okay, is that the 3? Okay, all right. So can I get a Mark?
I can be Mark.
Okay, and can Spencer?
Tristan can be Spencer.
Okay, and Katie. All right. All right, I'm gonna make it. My throat is gonna make it. My 6th clash of the day. My throat is going. When I used to smoke, I could talk all day, and I've kind of pretty much quit for like the last year, and I found now it's harder for me to talk for long periods of times and then yelling through a mask all day. All right, here we go. Interior, simple house, kitchen day, rustling of paper, no one in frame yet. Spencer Zeal, 20-year-old roommate, walks into frame facing away from camera, then addresses Mark. Mark Hannigan, 23 years old, is on the ground, shoveling papers and other items back into a box. He suddenly holds one hand behind him when Spencer speaks up.
What's happening over here? Nothing serious. I just tripped while I'm moving this box.
My bad. Oh, there we go.
What's up, lad?
What did I do? There we go.
Right.
Okay.
Are you okay, man? You hurt yourself? No, I'm fine, man. I just hate that all this crap's built up. Like some help then? And by the way, what are you moving boxes for? Are you planning on moving out, or is this just some housework? No, man, I'm staying here. It's fine. I'm almost done. I'm just cleaning up. This place has been kind of a mess since Katie went missing. I haven't had the energy to do anything. But just let me help you with that. It's really not a big deal. You should be relaxing after these last couple of weeks. It's okay, man. I really am fine. You say so. All right, I'll leave you to it. Just please tell me if you need anything.
Spencer walks away while Mark watches him. He slowly turns back to his fallen belongings, and the camera focuses on his face with much more serious lighting. In his hand, Mark is holding a necklace, jump cut. Interior, nice restaurant night. A laughing woman receiving that necklace from Mark is in a small gift box. She embraces Mark, the top halves of their faces cut off by the top of the frame, with the focus on the necklace as he puts it around her neck. Pleasant music.
How do you like it? You can admit it, I've got pretty good taste.
I heard, Mark. This is what I wanted. I'm so sorry I didn't get you anything.
Don't you worry one bit about that, my dear. This was just to show you how much I love you. I'm simply upset.
Fade out. Interior Mark's house. Kitchen day. Mark on the ground. Still, the room is quiet now. The music has completely stopped. The shot cuts away from Mark's eyes to the necklace that has a subtle amount of blood on it. Fade out. Okay. Very good. Very good. We got some horror, mystery, suspense people in here. So just some. I feel like this is a good example of a rough draft. So I think just tighten the screws on some of the formatting. One of the other things too, and this is kind of a general note for all, is write what you see. You know, like screenwriting is all about writing what you see at that moment and making people understand what's important and what's not. And probably some of this is just my my brain, but just a few little things. So like jump cut, add your little colon after that. You know, just little things like that to go through on this one. But very good. See if you can't get that fade out up onto page 2, which probably if you close that gap, you'll be good. But one little weird note: fade outs have a period, and are always followed by a fade in. So kind of a slight little thing. Screenwriting's tough. It takes a bit to get used to. One thing you can do: find a movie that you like one of your favorite movies, and Google shooting script for that movie and read the script of a movie you like. That is the absolute best way. But make sure you'll know it's a good, an actual shooting script if it's in this format. Not just like a transcript, but a good format. In Hollywood, they do the 2 hmms. I used to work for the guys who did God's Not Dead. They used to be horror writers. And they get boxes of scripts, and I can only read so much in a day, so you do the 2 is the first thing you look at page count, which in Hollywood it's 90 minutes. 1 page equals 1 minute, so you look for 90 pages to 120 maybe, depending on what it is. If it doesn't reach that, throw it away. And then the other thing is you start to get good that you can tell right away, okay, this is formatted correctly. You see correct formatting, you know somebody takes it serious, because it's so essential that it's formatted correctly when you start getting into the big budget kind of things, or just any. It's good to be precise. I am very pleased overall. I have to admit, I know this we're still in kind of the pandemic, so that threw me off for a while, and then last week threw me off, and then just kind of the nature of the beast. I am really proud of the quality of the work that everybody's generating. So continue to keep that up. Kind of from here on out, it's all about working on these productions. So you have your film journal, and so I'm gonna try not overburden you too much, so that you can kind of get going on your production book and things like that. Real quickly, let me just see if I can get on Celtics and see. Should. In. Until you actually buy it, they throw a few curveballs at you to get it there. Okay. This is a show I just had a production company, they're pitching it to Netflix soon. So it was kind of a cool one to work on. And if it doesn't, I'm just gonna shoot it myself. Okay, let me remember. Okay, go to edit, script settings. So show page numbers. Cross within Moore's continuous normal. I might have to do some research to see how we put the numbers in. There's some way you can do it, or buried in here. See numbers right here. You can do either left or both. I wouldn't, don't do right. And then that'll go ahead and number it for you. Make sure that your scene heading is a scene heading and not just an action that you've capitalized all the way through, because it's gonna look for these gray bars. And it doesn't know that you've just held down, you've just hit the caps lock and typed out an action as it. So make sure your scene heading has that gray, and then it'll do the numbers for you. Yeah, any questions at all? No? Good on the assignment, what to do? Beautiful. All right, thank you all very much. I'm gonna stop the screen recording. That went